let's talk about takeaways. So takeaways are one of the main things I see in people's food diaries that can kind of undo a lot of your hard work that you've done. Most people will have at least one takeaway in their food diary in a week. Some people live off them multiple times a week, and it could be convenience if you've not got any food in that you want to cook, if you're knackered and stressed and you can't be bothered cooking. And sometimes it's if you're going around to someone else's house or someone else is entertaining and they're ordering takeaway and etc. But if you're eating really well for part of your week in a calorie deficit and you're aiming to lose body fat etc, and then on a weekend you're then hammering the takeaways, you're definitely going to be undoing your progress and potentially still moving in the wrong direction. So we normally tell our clients to have one cheat meal per week, a structured cheat meal, and that can be kind of anything that you choose within reason. A lot of people actually fall off track from about Friday lunchtime and they don't get back on track until Monday morning. Some people actually start falling off track on a Thursday night and then they're off track Thursday night, all of Friday, all of Saturday, all of Sunday, and then it's 50% of your week where you've been eating crap, where you've been overindulging on calories, high fats, high carbs, not a lot of nutrition, and then you try and pull it back Monday to Wednesday or Monday to Thursday of eating really strict and barely eating anything, and it's just no good for you at all. It's definitely no good to be in a calorie deficit for half of the week and then a calorie surplus for half of the week. You're going to be starving yourself and slowing your own metabolism down in your calorie deficit, and then piling a load of calories in on top of a slow metabolism, and you're going to have a rebound effect and you're going to end up storing quite a lot of body fat. Now, takeaways have loads of hidden calories in them, portion sizes are way too high, and you could pretty much get a day's worth of calories in one sitting. So be really mindful of when you're ordering takeaways. Now, it's not always practical to not have one because the rest of your family might be ordering. If you live with parents, they might be ordering for everybody, and that's the only choice of evening meal you've got that night. So sometimes it's just knowing what are the better options or damage limitation, really. There's never going to be a day when ordering a takeaway is going to be healthier than cooking fresh from home, with fresh meats, veggies, fish and things like that. But you can definitely make wiser choices from takeaways, especially if you're on a meal plan and everybody else is ordering and you feel obliged to. Just knowing what to have that is going to be more nutritious and lower in calories than some of the other choices might be helpful to you. Now, if you're having a cheat meal each week, try not to then add alcohol, desserts, chocolate, sweets, crisps on top of that. What we normally do, so Adam loves a takeaway. His favourite is pizza. He absolutely loves pizza. I can take or leave it, I'm not that bothered. But when I'm not pregnant, I love a glass of wine and a bag of Haribo or something. So choose what your favourite cheat is and have a structured cheat a week. But try not to have everything. Try not to have a full English brekkie and a takeaway at night time and a bottle of wine and crisps and chocolate and absolutely everything, because there's just no moderation to that. Think about what your absolute favourite is. I'm quite happy on a Saturday night sitting there and eating salmon and vegetables or steak and halloumi and vegetables with a glass of wine, whereas Adam would much rather have a pizza and no wine or no alcohol. So it's having a little think about what your chosen treat is going to be. In terms of takeaways, I'm going to touch on the main types of takeaway that we normally order and give you a few different options. So first one, let's talk about Indian takeaway then. So typically we'd order, we know people that order, and we ourselves would order things like a kebab, for example. Now, you would be much better ordering something with lean meat, so chicken or prawns, something like that, on a pita bread with salad, than you would ordering doner meat or a mixed kebab that's got a load of fatty meats in there on a naan bread. If you think about the size difference from a pita to a naan, the portion size is much bigger. You're going to be getting tons more calories in, and if the quality of meats is quite high in fat, again, that's high in calories, and you're gonna start depositing body fat. So if we order a takeaway because we've got no food in, or we're stressed out from work and we can't be bothered cooking, it's quite common that I'll order a chicken pitta. Now, actually, that's not that bad. You could go to Nando's and have a chicken pitta and feel that you've eaten relatively healthily. So that's a better option. So some sort of lean meat or fish, on pitta would be better than having a doner kebab or a kebab that's got lots of different fatty red meats on them. So that's your options from a kebab perspective. In terms of curries, you'd be better staying away from your creamy based sauces, so things like kormas and masalas. All that extra cream that makes that sauce, again, is an abundance of calories and an abundance of bad fats. So you can either order a meat platter of like tandoori meats with no sauce, absolutely delicious, a little bit of seasoning on them, but not really a lot of bad calories, high protein. I know the takeaway that we use, the Indian takeaway that we use, they do a tandoori starter, and actually that's enough for me sometimes as a main meal, and it's a bit of lamb, a bit of chicken, a bit of pork, etc. With just a seasoning on. So it's high in protein, not a lot of fat calories at all, and I might have that with a little bit of rice. So that's fairly healthy, you know, lean meat with rice isn't that bad at all. So stay away from your creamy based sauces. If you don't like just the meat on its own without some sort of sauce, you'd be better going for a veggie based sauce, so like a jalfrezi, or a madras, something like that. And if you like breads and things to dip in, again, you'd be better with pitta or chapati rather than big cheesy garlic naans and stuff like that. Now I know some of this stuff is absolutely delicious, but the more of that you have, the worse your health's going to be, the worse your weight's going to be, etc. So if you're looking for these healthier choices and you make some of those swap outs, you'll definitely feel better for it. The other thing is, if you're going for sides, a lot of places will do like grilled vegetables, or they'll do vegetable based sides like dal, etc. With rices as well, you'd be best off going for a brown rice or a basmati rice versus a pilau. Just nutritionally, there's better nutrients in it. So aim for those sorts of things when you're ordering from an Indian takeaway. In terms of Chinese, so Chinese takeaway, this is Adam's fit, he absolutely loves a Chinese, but a lot of the stuff in Chinese is battered or fried. So if you're thinking things like prawn toasts and spring rolls and things like that, a lot of them are deep fried, and everything that's deep fried is bad for you. It's really high in fat, saturated fats, a lot of fried rices and things like that. So if you're ordering from a Chinese, you'd be better going for boiled rice instead of fried rice, so swapping that out is quite a quick and easy swap out. Avoiding things that are deep fried and battered. So again, one of our favourites, we love a crispy chili beef and we love salt and pepper chicken, but anything that's got a batter or a casing on top of the meat that's then covered in some sort of sauce is going to be higher in calories, higher in fat, potentially deep fried, or will potentially have some sort of sticky sweet sauce over it, which again sounds delicious, but really high in calories, high in sugar, high in fats. So try and go for things that are like maybe a chop suey, or something that's just the fresh meat or fish that's not covered in any sort of batter. You'd also be better going for chips rather than fries if there's any sort of chips on the menu. So the chunkier the chip, the less fat it's going to absorb from being in a deep fat fryer, etc. I mean, fried chips and fries, neither are ideal, but the thicker the chip, the less fat content, or less bad fats there's going to be in the chip. So they're the types of things to order from a Chinese. And then if you go for pizza, so pizza is an absolute staple in a lot of households, and it's very rare I check a food diary where there's not at least a pizza in there a week. And I am often asked, is pizza really that bad for you? So the problem with pizza, now a lot of vegans and veggies rely on pizza because it's a bread base and you can add a bit of veg on top of it, and a bit of cheese, etc. And it's a meal and it's fairly easy, quick. You can buy them for a couple of quid and bang them in the oven and it's easy. The problem is a lot of pizzas will be carbs upon carbs, so especially if it's a veggie type pizza. So your bread base is carbs, then you've got your tomato sauce, which is carbs, and then you've got your veg on top, which is carbs. So it's almost like a triple carb meal. With pizzas, yes, I know a Domino's pizza's amazing and a stuffed crust pizza is amazing, but in terms of calorie intake, a few slices of a Domino's pizza, you're talking your full daily calorie intake gone. Not to mention then you're probably going to have breakfast first, your snacks throughout the day, maybe a bit of alcohol on top, you could literally ruin your full week's worth of progress just from having a pizza. So when you're ordering pizza, you'd be better having thin crust or a stone baked type crust. Again, homemade stuff is absolutely ideal, but I know it's not always practical. So if you can order thin crust, order thin crust. Don't let your eyes be bigger than your belly and make you order the biggest one because it's the one that's the most the cheapest in terms of the quantity that you're getting, so the best like value, if you like. Order just enough. Don't order an absolutely massive one. Order something on thin crust if you can, and if you eat meat, try and order something that's got lean meat on it, so you chicken and things like that, rather than ground beef and pepperonis or pepperoni and stuff. So you want lean meat with veg on a thin crust with a tomato based sauce, not a creamy based sauce, and that's going to cut a load of calories for you straight away. So that's the best type of pizza option to order. And then my favourite is chippy, so a good old fashioned English chippy or fish and chips. So if you go into the chippy, a lot of issues we have with chippy is basically it's a lot of carbs and a lot of fat, and what a lot of people will have is no protein with it. So you might have chips and gravy, or you might have chips and curry, or half rice, half chips and curry. You might stick a Hollands pie in there, which have absolutely no nutrition in them whatsoever. So actually, within an Indian and a Chinese and a pizza, you can add lean meat to that and get a bit of a protein hit with it, so it's not as detrimental nutritionally. With chippy, it's really hard to do that. A lot of it's deep fried or dinged in the microwave. A lot of it's carbs on carbs. So it's hard to find something at the chippy that's actually going to give you any sort of nutrition whatsoever. The best thing you could possibly order would be fish and chips. But obviously the fish is covered in batter and then deep fried. So what you'd be better doing would be portion your chips out into an actual portion instead of just a big, a big tray of it. And your fish, eat half of your fish without batter and then the other half with batter. So have some of the cod without that fatty substance around it, and it's going to be a little bit healthier. You're going to be getting protein in, you're going to be getting some fats, and you're going to be getting some carbs. Now, I'm not going to blag you that it's healthy in the slightest, because it's not, but it's definitely better than having a deep fried sausage, which have got absolutely no nutrition. If anything, they're just full of crap, with chips and gravy, or a pie that says meat and potato but actually has absolutely no meat in it whatsoever. You would be better with fish and chips. If you like chips and gravy or chips and curry or something like that, you'd be better ordering also a bit of a side dish, if it's a Chinese chippy, of something with chicken in it, or something with prawns, something with some sort of lean meat to have in addition to your chips and your curry sauce. So yeah, it might push the calorie intake up a little bit of it, but you're at least going to be getting some good nutrition in the lean meat that you're having in there. Like I said, none of them are ideal. We shouldn't be having them, full stop. If we are having them, it should be in absolute moderation, and even if we're having them in moderation, we should be trying to make the best possible choices, because ultimately it's your health. You don't want your body can't repair and rejuvenate cells with absolute rubbish building blocks. So I hope it helps. I will do another video where I talk about the best things to get from drive-through, so from like your KFCs, your Costas, your McDonald's and things like that. But this one's mainly to focus on the stuff that when you just need something delivered to your home, so you pick up the phone or you just eat it and it arrives, they would be your better options to go for. Give it a go, let me know what you think, and I hope it helps.